Hitman is one of those rare series where the saying never change your winding system really makes sense. The basic gameplay is already great. Sneaking, disguises, creative kills, it all works really well. But over the years, some features that made the older Hitman games even better have disappeared. Now that IO Interactive is focusing on the upcoming James Bond game and with no clear date for the next Hitman, it's the perfect time to look back. Here are 10 features that should return in the next Hitman game. Let's start with point shooting, a feature that works a lot like the Dead Eye from Red Dead Redemption. Time slows down, you mark your targets and Agent 47 takes them out with perfect precision. I don't know about you, but honestly, I think it's one of the best features Hitman ever had, and I really believe it should come back in the next game, but in a very different way than before. I'm not saying it should be overused or turned into an action mechanic, but imagine it as a one-time feature, something you can trigger in really tense situations to de-escalate things fast, or give us a special point shooting opportunities built into the level design. Just imagine you're in this situation doing the Berlin mission where things get intense and suddenly you have the chance to use point shooting instead of taking the shots manually. Agent 47 clears the room in seconds. It's stylish, it's cinematic and it totally fits his character. He's just not skilled, he's beyond human when it comes to reflexes and precision. Used selectively, it could add drama without breaking the core stealth gameplay or making you feel overpowered. Just one perfectly timed moment that reminds us why Agent 47 is the best at what he does. Let's continue with customization. We have always been able to plan which weapons we want to take on our missions, except in Hitman Absolution. But the real high point for customization was in Hitman Blood Money. After every mission you earned money, and with that money you could buy useful tools and upgrade your weapons to set them up exactly how you wanted. The variety of options was incredible, especially considering the fact the game is nearly 20 years old. In Hitman World of Assassination you can choose your mission starting location, outfit and a wide range of tools. But in my opinion it's still not enough. It doesn't feel as rewarding when you don't earn money after missions to buy upgrades and improvements. This feature has to come back, no matter in what form. I want to collect money again and upgrade my weapons exactly the way I like. Let's move on to native language.
Sorry, I don't speak Chinese.
English. What I mean, stay away.
I don't know how you feel about it, but to me, native language is super important when it comes to atmosphere and authenticity. In the older Hitman games, you often couldn't understand what NPCs were saying, and honestly, that made total sense.
Procedura. Acum îți simt carne.
Let me give you an example. Anyone who's ever been to France knows that people there usually don't like speaking English, so to me, it makes absolutely no sense that in the Paris mission, not a single NPC speaks French, not even a word.
Invite, please.
Now I get it. Hitman World of Assassination relies heavily on dialogue to deliver gameplay hints and story elements, so having everything in English makes sense from a design perspective. But still, I wish at least the background NPCs would occasionally greet or say something simple in their native language. Just a bonjour, for example.
Raak mijn auto niet aan.
I really hope that in the next Hitman, we will hear more native language again. It's a small detail, but it adds a lot of immersion.
Láthatnám az igazolványát, uram? ID card. Üdvözlöm, uram. Fáradjon be, kérem.
Next up, human shields. This might not be a game-changing feature, but for a stealth game like Hitman, I really think it should be part of the experience, especially since it was already included in previous titles. I think IO Interactive tried to distance the World of Assassination trilogy as much as possible from Hitman Absolution, mainly because that game received a lot of criticism for straying too far from what made Hitman unique in the first place. But still, I think human shields deserve a proper comeback. It just fits the tone of the series, and if it was there before, it should be there again. Especially since it probably wouldn't even be that hard to bring back. The next feature I would love to see return is blood trails. When you kill enemies with sharp objects or shoot them, there's often a lot of blood. On walls, on their clothes and on the floor. In Hitman Blood Money, it even went further. Dragging a body would leave a visible blood trail. If a guard or NPC saw it, they would follow it. And if you hadn't properly hidden the body, it would be discovered. I get it, with today's graphics and engine complexity, adding something like this might be challenging, but I still hope it could return in some form. Even in Hitman Absolution, guards reacted to blood on the floor, so we know it's possible. In the World of Assassination trilogy though, NPCs don't react to blood at all, which honestly feels like a step back. This feature added tension, realism and consequences, and I really hope it makes a comeback. The next feature that needs to return is a proper weapon wheel. As much as I love Hitman, I've always find the inventory system frustrating. I really don't like it when the game pauses every time I want to switch a weapon or equip an item. It breaks the flow. I want to stay in action, not to get pulled into a menu every few seconds. Ironically, Hitman 2 Silent Assassin, more than 20 years old, had one of the best solutions to this. You could bring up a quick weapon menu or pause the game, depending on what you preferred. But my personal favorite is still the weapon wheel from Hitman Absolution. It was clean, simple and didn't pause the game at all. I really hope the next Hitman finds a good solution for this, something that keeps the immersion and doesn't interrupt the gameplay. We still don't know when the next Hitman game will come out or what direction it will take, but one thing I personally want to see again is smaller maps. I know the World of Assassination trilogy focused heavily on large sandbox style missions, and those were amazing in terms of replayability, but I would love to see a mix of both in the future. Let me play a mission that takes place entirely inside a single building, just like in the older games. A great example is the Meat Kings party from Hitman Contracts. The map is small, but everyone remembers it because of how creepy and unique it was. And even within that small space, there were several distinct areas that made it feel rich and varied. Another great example is the Chinatown mission from Hitman Absolution. It still felt like a sandbox, but compared to the World of Assassination maps, it was way more compact. And that gave it a completely different kind of intensity. We don't know if IO Interactive will stick to the huge sandboxes or lean back into more linear design, but I really hope smaller, tighter maps will make a return. Next up, Jesper Kyd. By now, I think every gamer on the planet knows this name. Jesper Kyd has composed hundreds of iconic soundtracks across the gaming world, most famously, probably the music for Assassin's Creed. But for me, his work on the Hitman series stands among his absolute best. Every single track you've heard in this video so far was composed by him. I truly hope IO Interactive has the budget and the will to bring him back for the next Hitman game, because honestly, Hitman and Jesper Kyd just belong together, and I genuinely believe that a Jesper Kyd soundtrack instantly elevates any game to a whole new level. I decided to combine the last two features because they work really well together: the newspaper system and the Notoriety system. In Hitman Blood Money, after each mission, you get a score and some money, depending on how you played. But if someone saw you, your Notoriety level went up. That made the next mission harder because NPCs could recognize you. You could spend money to lower your Notoriety, but if you didn't, there were consequences. You also got a newspaper after each mission. It describes exactly what happened, how your target died, what weapon was used, if there were witnesses and more. Sometimes it even showed a sketch of 47's face based on what people saw. It was such a smart system that made your actions feel important, and it gave the game way more personality. To be honest, I don't think Hitman World of Assassination is as perfect as many people say. I believe IO Interactive still has big plans for the series, but the only thing holding them back was budget, not creativity. A new Hitman game with the Notoriety system and the newspapers could really take the series to the next level. If they do it right, it could become one of the best games of all time. That was it for the 10 features I would love to see in the next Hitman game. Let me know which features you think deserve a comeback and why. Thank you for watching and see you the next time.